Welcome back to the actual episode 6. For whatever reason, I just blanked last episode. It was actually supposed to be 5. So there's a notification on screen, I'm sure. And yeah, so today, like we talked about at the end of last episode, I want to keep doing more with this area. I'd like to flesh it out a little bit, add some greenery in here, make it look, a little bit more deserty and not just rock. Do some cactus probably. We're going to add some Joshua trees. And then we're going to work on this building. I will probably end up moving the roof and then just placing it back when we're done. I think that'll probably be easier. And I've been doing a little bit of thinking about where we're going to place our next animals. This right here, this massive blank spot against this building, this looks weird. It looks very flat and empty. So I think that it would be a really neat backstage area for one of our animals, either the penguins or the gophers. And then this area, you know what, I think we're going to do rock penguins through here, and we're going to do gophers through here. And we'll add just like a little roundabout, so that way you can walk through the gopher prairie. And that will be pretty neat. We'll just do like a loop, and then come through here, and then a loop. So you still get to walk through all these different passages, which I think is just fun. And then when we do the backstage area for the penguins, that will be like their temperature control room, and where we keep our water source, and just have a little rest area for them. Maybe like we'll put in like an incubator for eggs or something like that. I think that would be cool, like they're breeding African penguins here. And then we can make this like a little water park area. I think that would be really cute. We can add, maybe as we go this direction, we can do, California sea lions. I've never gotten to build for them. So that'll be fun. Either that or, I don't really want to wait for this edge, because this is going to be a little while yet. And again, we are still running into those problems of like, there's a cliff here and there's nothing I can do about it. So, yeah, no, I think having this be like a little waterway might be really cute. So that will be next episode. And then for this episode, we're just gonna work on finishing this up. So, I will see you after the timeline. Welcome back! We are finally done doing all of the decorating for what I'm dubbing the Mojave Maze. So let's go ahead and pop into explore mode, and I discovered something new that'll make this a little bit easier. I can hide my UI. Took me a while to remember that I had that. So, we have dubbed this area Mojave Maze. This is one of the Australian pieces, and I've never had the opportunity to use them, but this felt very fitting. So, as we come through here, the rock structuring is largely the same, but now we have the benefit of, like, you know, we have benches, we have cacti, we've got plants, you know, it looks much more green, lived in, a little bit less like you're walking through the center of the desert and more like you're walking on the edge. So, I think it looks pretty good. We've still got the walkway to the Emporium, of course, and then we decorated the adobe house. I did mention earlier, I believe, about what we're going to do to make this really stand out as far as interiors go. So please do leave me messages in the comments, because I would really appreciate any inspiration, because left to my own devices, this is all we would get. So, I think that there is more to be done there next episode. If we get there, you know, as far as, like, recommendations and all that. Eventually we will put the animals in, but I'm actually holding off on that for a good long while. And the reason why is multifold. The first is that when you bring animals into the zoo, it basically turns on the game part of the game. It's no longer a builder. So you have to manage guests, or you have to turn the zoo to closed, and then you get a whole bunch of error messages about how there haven't been any customers. So by just not having animals in the zoo to begin with at all, we can focus on building without any disruptions. And also without me having to tweak creative settings, which I don't particularly enjoy doing. The other reason is because I would like to do specific animal spotlights for everybody that we're going to have in the zoo, and actually sit down and talk about the fennec fox, or the prairie dog, and try and go into maybe a little bit more depth about these animals than you've probably heard in the past. So, as we continue through here, I've got these custom signs. This one says walk through, to let people know, hey, you gotta walk through it. It's not easy viewing. The fennec foxes, you have the option to walk through, but I think that you can get a pretty good view just from the walkway, so it's not necessary. It's only really if you want to go see the inside that you would go into this area. And like that, you know, as a viewer experience, or as a guest experience, I think that's a lot of fun. We've got these little statues. I was unable to build a custom sign for the fennec foxes, aside from this, because all we have are statues and a plaque. And that does not make for interesting signage. We've also got these benches. We're using the Africa bench in here, and then we've tweaked it to be sort of this teal color. A little bit of background. The area that I've mapped this off of is Utah, but closer to Arizona. There's this border between Utah and Arizona where the desert turns this kind of orange, gets these kind of pillars like I mentioned last time. But one of the things that they pull out of there a lot is turquoise. You get a lot of turquoise, and it's basically like the unofficial color scheme, especially if you go to Nevada. There was a whole thing for a while there where like all the jewelry that you could ever buy in Nevada was turquoise. So in a nod to that, I have put these little turquoise rocks everywhere, and you can see they are actually lights. So that's pretty neat. Yes, I know that we don't have enough keepers. So in just a moment, I will go ahead and do a flyover, so that way you guys can see what this place looks like in the dark. I know that you saw me build it, but it might be nice to do like an actual walking path. And we just sort of come this direction. As far as what we're going to do next episode, so we already talked about putting the rock penguins in sort of this area here. We're going to go ahead and make this blank area into sort of a backstage that extends, sort of a covered area, and then I would like to turn this into like the closest we can get to a water park in Planet Zoo. We've got water jets, we've got pool tools now. I think that we can do quite a bit with it. So when we come back, that'll be what we do next, and then that way we can get these two areas connected up. From now, let me go ahead and swap over to night mode. Just do that very gently. And now we have our lighting. So again, we start over here. And you wouldn't know that these rocks were lights. Like they just look like oddly colored rocks, and then at night they light up and it makes it look really pretty. I almost think that this makes it feel almost as if you're underwater, which wasn't my intention, but it's, I don't know, it's pretty. I will probably end up keeping it like this, unless I get really frustrated with it and decide that all of the lighting needs to get redone. But the whole purpose of the lighting for here is not necessarily to illuminate where you're going, because as you can see, I mean, it's pretty bright at night. But more to guide you along the path, so that you don't, like, walk into a sombrero, you know, so. Yeah. So, I hope that you all have enjoyed this episode. I know it was a lot of small projects instead of tackling one big thing. But it got us to a good place, and now we can start on a new area. So until next time, guys, I will see you later. Ha ha ha, I found it.